Welcome to today's deep dive. And if you're joining us, you know our mission here. We like taking the really intimidating world of cricket analytics and making it incredibly simple for you, even if you are brand new to the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't need a math degree to get this stuff.
Right. So today our source material focuses on a very specific IPL match. This was the Chennai Super Kings, or CSK, against the Punjab Kings, PBKS, at Chepauk.
And spoiler alert, PBKS won that one by 5 wickets.
They did, but, the final score doesn't really tell the real story here.
Not even close, yeah.
Because to a casual observer checking their phone the next morning, this might have looked like just a standard, really tense run chase. But the data gives us this, well, it's like a matrix-level view of how a single tactical substitution just completely hijacked the math of the game. I mean, in just 11 deliveries.
It really was a hijack.
Okay, let's unpack this. Before we can dissect how the game was won, we kind of have to measure what kind of game it actually was.
Right, establish the baseline.
Exactly, and the sources use this metric called the Humdinger score.
Love the Humdinger score.
It's great, right? It basically rates the palpable excitement of a match out of 10. So to set the stage, CSK batted first. They put up a highly competitive 209 for 5.
Which is a massive total in T20 cricket.
Huge. They were anchored by Ayush Mahatre, who hit 73, and then Sarfaraz Khan had this crazy aggressive cameo, 32 runs off just 12 balls late in the innings.
Yeah, he was swinging at everything.
Right. So PBKS comes out, and they actually chase it down to win. 210 for 5 with 8 balls remaining.
Over 400 combined runs in one night.
Exactly. So you would think, high scores, late finish, that's a thriller. But the Humdinger score for this match was a mediocre 4.4 out of 10.
Just a 4.4.
Yeah. They literally categorized it as watchable but comfortable. Why is that score so low?
Well, what's fascinating here is how the Humdinger score is calculated. It's not just about, lots of runs or a close final over. There's a specific component they use called time near 50% win probability.
Okay, what does that mean in plain English?
So basically, true suspense only exists when the outcome is genuinely in the balance.
Right.
The analytics define this as the window when either team has like a 40 to 60% chance of winning.
So it's basically a coin toss.
Exactly. But in this entire PBKS run chase, only a staggering 1.8% of the balls were bowled when the game was actually in that balanced window.
Right. Really? Only 1.8%?
Yeah. For the other 98% of the chase, the predictive models essentially knew exactly who was going to win.
That is wild. It's like watching a thriller movie where you accidentally read the spoiler that the hero survives in the first 10 minutes.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Right, because there are still explosions, the stunts are happening, but the true suspense is just gone. You're just watching the mechanics. But if CSK put up a massive 209 runs, how on earth did the suspense evaporate so quickly?
It all comes down to the inflection point, the exact moment the math broke.
Okay, take me there.
So PBKS starts the chase, ball 1, over 1. Their win probability is sitting at 53.6%.
Which is right in that coin flip zone we just talked about.
Exactly. But PBKS decides to activate their impact player rule immediately. In the IPL, you can make one tactical sub per game, right? So they bring in this batter, Priyansh Arya.
And he didn't just have a good game, he completely destroyed the architecture of the run chase right out of the gate.
He really did. He hit 39 runs off just 11 balls.
11 balls.
Yeah. His strike rate was a jaw-dropping 354.55.
Which, for anyone new to this, a normal good strike rate is like 130, maybe 140.
Right. Operating at 350 is just, it's video game numbers.
He broke the speed limit of the sport.
He absolutely did. And by the time Arya was finally dismissed, it was only 4.2 overs into the match. But the PBKS win probability had already skyrocketed to 94.7%.
Wow.
And the required run rate crashed from 10.5 down to 8.5.
So the tension just completely broke before most fans had even settled into their seats.
Yeah. The data shows absolutely no genuine slope movement in the PBKS win probability after Ari got out. Just flatlined near 90%, except for like a tiny little blip right at the very end.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. Because to bring Arya in, to get that offensive explosion, PBKS had to pull a player out of the game early.
Right, you don't get an impact player for free.
And they chose to pull their best bowler, Yuzvendra Chahal, who, by the way, was having a great night. His economy rate was 7.0.
Which is incredibly stingy in a game with over 400 runs.
Exactly, and he had just taken a key wicket. So isn't removing your best defensive weapon a massive analytical risk?
It feels risky, sure. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's all about expected value. And the source material actually uses this predictive data tool. They call it Black Mirror.
Ooh, I like that name.
It's very dramatic, yeah. But it shows exactly what would have happened in these counterfactual scenarios. Like, what if PDKS hadn't taken that risk?
Okay, let's open up the Black Mirror. What is scenario A?
Scenario A is where Chahal stays in the game and bowls his final over. The data suggests he limits the damage, and CSK probably scores 201 instead of 209.
Okay, so keeping the good defender saves them 8 runs.
Right. And PBKS likely still wins that game, but it becomes this really tight, drawn-out battle that goes deep into the 19th over.
It becomes a real humdinger.
Exactly. The win probability stays in that 40 to 60% zone for most of the night.
Okay, so what about scenario B? What if PBKS brings in Arya, but Arya just plays like a normal, competent T20 player instead of a superhero?
Right, so let's say Arya bats like his teammate Preb Simran did that night, which was a 126 strike rate.
A perfectly average professional performance.
Yeah, if he does that, he only scores 14 runs in those 11 balls instead of 39.
Oh, wow. That's a 25-run swing in just a few minutes.
It fundamentally changes the math. If he only gets 14 runs, the required run rate for the rest of the team shoots up to 12.2, and the PBKS win probability plummets straight back down to 51%.
So they are right back in the coin flip zone.
Exactly. The pressure is completely back on.
So Shreyas Iyer, the PBKS captain, he essentially read the math perfectly.
He did. Arya's addition to the run chase was mathematically worth far more than Chahal's subtraction from the bowling attack. The expected value was, it was just decisively positive.
It's like trading in your best shield for a rocket launcher.
I love that.
Right, sure, you take a little more damage because you don't have your shield, but you destroy the opponent's base before they can even reload.
That is exactly what happened. The macro strategy won the war.
But the sources also point out that macro strategy only works if you execute on the ground. And this match was actually full of these fascinating micro battles.
Yeah, the matchups really reveal how teams execute, how they fail to execute their data plans.
Let's talk about the specific player matchups, because this grounds the analytics in real physics. First one. CSK's top scorer, Ayush Mahatre, against PBKS bowler Vijay Kumar Vishak.
This is a great one.
So Mahatre was dominating everyone, right? Operating at a 169 strike rate. But then Vishak completely suppresses him down to a 114 strike rate. How did he do it?
He used a strict, wide, full-angled plan.
Meaning what, exactly?
Meaning, Vishak looked at the data, saw where McCoach liked to hit the ball, and just aggressively bowled the ball away from that zone. Wide and full. He forced Matri to reach, messed up his center of gravity, and eventually Matri lost his balance trying to hit one and got out.
That is beautiful. It's just using data to neutralize the threat. But then the data also shows us the opposite. Look at the PBKS captain, Shreyas Iyer, batting against Matt Henry.
Yeah. Henry got completely smashed by Iyer. 19 runs off 8 balls.
And the sources are pretty brutal about this. They say Henry bowled the completely wrong length and angle. He just allowed Iyer to drive the ball easily.
Which raises an important question, right? Analytics isn't just about who is better overall. It's about where they are better.
Right.
Vishak used the data perfectly. But Henry, he failed to adapt his angle. He kept bowling over the wicket, angling the ball straight into Iyer's swing path. The data said he needed to switch to around the wicket.
And he just didn't do it.
He didn't, and he paid the price.
It's like playing rock, paper, scissors with someone. If the data tells you your opponent always throws rock, you don't just throw rock back harder. You shift your angle and throw paper.
Exactly.
That's what Vishak did, and what Henry totally failed to do. But wait, what about our impact player, Arya, going up against Henry? Because Henry bowled to him, too.
He did. And Arya hit 21 runs off 6 balls against him.
Just unplayable.
But the funny thing is, the tracking data shows Henry actually bowled the correct deliveries to Arya.
Wait, really? The data said it was the right pitch?
Yeah. The line and length were optimal according to the analytics. But Arya was just operating at a completely different level. When a batter is in a flow state like that, striking at 350. Sometimes the data just proves that a batter is having an unstoppable night.
So even perfect math can't always beat a human being having the night of their life.
Exactly. You can map out the perfect pitch, but if the guy swings and hits it anyway, you just have to tip your cap.
That is amazing. So what does this all mean?
Well, I think it shows that T20 cricket is basically a math equation happening at 90 miles an hour.
Right. We started this deep dive looking at a 5-wicket win that just looked like a simple, fun scoreboard. But through the lens of analytics, you can see all these hidden mechanics.
The suppressed excitement of the humdinger score.
The mathematical hijacking by the impact player.
And that tactical rock, paper, scissors of the bowler matchups.
Exactly. And the takeaway for you listening is that you really don't need a PhD in statistics to understand the story of a game. When you look at the right data points, the hidden architecture of any complex system just reveals itself.
It makes watching the game so much more rewarding, honestly.
It really does. But it does leave me with this final kind of provocative thought.
Uh-oh, lay it on me.
If a single impact player like Arya can functionally end a match in just 11 balls simply by breaking the win probability math,
Which you did.
right. What happens to the sport when teams figure this out completely? Like when they start recruiting entire rosters of hyper-specialized 10-ball mercenaries? Will the future of cricket look less like a continuous athletic contest and more like a series of isolated, high-speed mathematical sprints?
That's a terrifying thought for traditionalists.
Yeah.
But it might just be where the math leads us.
It's something to think about the next time you see a tactical sub walk onto the pitch. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the numbers behind the narratives, and we'll catch you next time.